MV Nino Bixio was an Italian cargo ship. Giovanni Ansaldo and Company of Genoa built her in 1941 for the Garibaldi Group, a Genoese shipping company. The Royal Navy submarine torpedoed and damaged her in 1942, killing 336 Allied prisoners of war who were aboard her. The ship survived, was repaired, and continued in merchant service until 1970. She was SR Captain La Spezia in 1971. Building. Giovanni Ansaldo and Company built the ship in 1941 for the Garibaldi Group, which assigned her to its ship-owning subsidiary SR Cooperativa di Navigazione. She was named after Nino Bixio, a 19th-century Italian soldier and politician who served under Giuseppe Garibaldi. Nino Bixio was completed in November 1941. She was a modern cargo ship, with a diesel engine driving her single screw and giving her a speed of 15 knots. Attack and rescue. On 16 August 1942, Nino Bixio and another Italian cargo ship, Sestriere, embarked several thousand UK, Dominion and Allied prisoners of war from the North African campaign at Benghazi in Libya. The PAS were divided alphabetically by surname, AL aboard Sestriere and MZ aboard Nino Bixio. Most of the prisoners were crowded into the ship's cargo holds. 3,200 of the PAS were aboard Nino Bixio. The two ships sailed for Brindisi in Italy, escorted by the Freccia-class destroyer Salietta, Navigatore-class destroyer Nicolazzo d'Arecco, Spica-class torpedo boat Castor and Orsa-class torpedo boat Orione. The British E-class submarine HMS Turbulent sailed to intercept the convoy, whose escort was reinforced by several aircraft. At 16:33 on Monday, the 17th of August, Turbulent fired a spread of 4 torpedoes at the two cargo ships, and then dived deep to evade counterattack. One torpedo suffered a gyroscope fault and went in circles, passing above the submerged submarine 3 times. Sestriere escaped unharmed, but 3 torpedoes hit Nino Bixio. One exploded in her number 1 hold and another in her engine room. The third did not explode but grazed her rudder badly enough to disable her steering. Nino Bixio settled in the water but her bulkheads held and she remained afloat. One source states that the Italian Navy escorts tried to depth-charge Turbulent, whereas another claims that there was no counterattack. Either way, the submarine escaped. Salietta took Nino Bixio in tow while Castor and Orione searched the sea for survivors. The Cadorna-class cruiser Luigi Cadorna later arrived to help in the search, and a hospital ship came to receive the wounded. Salietta towed Nino Bixio to the Peloponnesian port of Pylos in Italian-occupied Greece, where the damaged ship was beached. Later she was towed to Venice where she was sunk as a block ship to protect the port. Surviving passengers were transferred via Corinth to Bari in Italy. They were moved to prisoner of war Camp 57 at Grupignano, San Moro, about 9 miles east of Udine in northeastern Italy. Casualties and monuments. The attack killed 336 Allied PAS and wounded many others. Nino Bixio had sheltered deck holds. In No. 1 hold, the 2 wooden ladders from the sheltered deck to the lower level of the hold were destroyed in the explosion, hampering the rescue of survivors from the flooded part. The 2 ladders from the upper part of the hold to the deck survived, so prisoners from that level were able to escape. Many, including a lot of British Indian Army PAS, jumped overboard. However, as it became clear that the ship would survive, many others stayed aboard. 184 of the dead were from number 1 hold, 116 New Zealanders, 41 Australians, 16 from the UK and 11 South Africans. 7 Free French PAS in number 2 hold were also killed. There were Indian Army PAS in No. 3 hold, but the number of casualties among them is not known. A number of Italian guards who were on deck were also killed. The bodies of some of the dead were brought ashore. 20 New Zealand soldiers are buried at Pylos, and the names are included on the CWGC's Phaleron War Memorial in Athens. The majority of the dead have no grave but the sea, and are therefore commemorated on the Alamein Memorial in Western Egypt. A chapel at Pau Camp 57 was built in 1943 and consecrated a few days before the armistice of Casibah. The camp was demolished after the war, but the chapel was restored in the 1990s. A white marble tablet commemorating the 116 New Zealanders and 41 Australians among Nino Bixio's dead was installed in the chapel in the 21st century. Peacetime career. In 1952 Nino Bixio was raised, refitted and returned to civilian service. In her peacetime career she visited a number of New Zealand ports including Wellington, where on the 25th of January 1955 a wreath-laying ceremony was held aboard her foredeck. The ship was withdrawn from commercial service in 1970 and arrived at La Spezia on the 28th of November. Work to scrap her began in August 1971.